Welcome to this tutorial series where we will build a simple yet stylish game using Love2D on Android. Don't expect anything too flashy, but what we create will have its own charm and character. We will be organizing everything into 7 Lua files, all stored in the working directory on your Android device. Unlike most tutorials that start with the main Lua file, we will save that for last. This way, we can gradually build up the complexity and keep each video focused and clear. We will begin with the core modules and wrap things up by integrating everything into main Lua. Along the way, you will learn about working with objects, buttons, backgrounds, simple AI, collision handling, and how to structure your code across multiple modules. Let's dive in and start bringing your game to life. We start with the shortest module, Buttons Lua. This Lua module defines a table named Buttons, which includes 4 basic directional buttons, up, down, left, and right. Each button has properties like X and Y, for position, width and height, for size, and clicked, which is false by default, used to check if the button was pressed. The key field is left empty. This keeps the buttons clean. But if the viewer desires, they can add a label or symbol to each button later, using that field. At the end, the module returns the buttons table so it can be used in other parts of the app or game. In this setup, we are designing for a horizontal Android touchscreen, like when you hold your phone or tablet sideways, playing a game. We are using 2D coordinates to place the buttons. X controls the position, from left to right. Y controls the position, from top to bottom. And remember, the top left corner of the screen is the origin, X0 and Y0. Now here is where it gets specific. These buttons are placed in the bottom left corner of the screen. That is the usual place where touch controls, like a D-pad, are expected in horizontal Android games. For example, the up button is at X100, Y250, already low on the screen. The down button is just below that at Y300. Left is farther to the left, at X50, and right is at X150, to the right of center. So when you look at it, it forms a neat little directional pad, placed right where your left thumb naturally rests when holding the device. This makes it intuitive and comfortable for gameplay. Once we finish writing the script, we save it and copy it into the working directory we showed earlier. The background module is used to create and manage a dynamic background in the game. It handles visual elements like dust or particles, giving the game world a sense of depth and motion. This block of code creates a Lua table called background, which acts like a class in object-oriented programming. The function backgroundNew is a constructor that creates and returns a new background object. Inside this function, a new table called self is created. It contains 3 properties: dust, which starts as an empty table, screen width, which stores the width of the screen using Love2D's graphics function, and screen height, which stores the height of the screen. The line that sets the meta table sets up inheritance. It tells Lua that if the object, called self, does not have a method or property, it should look for it in the background table. This allows all background objects to share common functions. Finally, the constructor function returns the self table, which now acts as a new background object. The createDust function generates 100 dust particles and stores them in the dust table. For each particle, it creates a table with several properties. X and Y are random positions on the screen. Size is a random value between 2 and 5, defining how big the particle is. Speed x and speed y determine the particle's movement in both horizontal and vertical directions. The speed is randomly chosen between 30 and 50, and it can go either left or right, up or down, depending on a coin flip-like condition. Opacity sets how transparent the particle is, with a random value between 0.3 and 0.7. Each of these particles is added to the dust list, creating a dynamic and varied background effect. The update dust function updates the position of each dust particle over time. It loops through all the particles stored in the dust table. For each particle, it adjusts its x and y positions by adding the particle's speed, speed x, and speed y, multiplied by the delta time, dt. This ensures the particles move smoothly across the screen based on the time that has passed. This part of the code ensures that the dust particles wrap around the screen instead of going off the edges. It checks if a particle's x or y position is outside the screen's boundaries. If the particle's x position is greater than the screen width, in this case self-screen width, it is moved to the left side of the screen. If the particle's x position is less than 0, it is moved to the right side of the screen. Similarly, if the particle's y position exceeds the screen height, it is moved to the top. If the particle's y position is less than 0, it is moved to the bottom of the screen. This makes the particles continuously loop around the screen. The draw function is responsible for drawing the background on the screen. First, it sets the color to a dark shade using the LÖVE2D set color function, where the values represent a red, green, blue, and alpha, which is transparency, components of the color. In this case, it is a dark blue color. Next, it draws a filled rectangle that covers the entire screen using the LÖVE2D rectangle function. This rectangle acts as the background, stretching across the full width and height of the screen. After drawing the background, the code sets the color to white with half transparency using LÖVE2D set color. The values represent red, green, blue, and alpha, where 1 means full intensity and 0.5 makes it semi-transparent. Then, it loops through each dust particle in the dust table. For each one, it draws a filled circle at the particle's x and y position, using its size to define the radius. This creates the glowing moving dust effect on the screen. Finally, the draw function ends, and the module returns the background table. This allows the background object and its functions to be used elsewhere in the game, such as in the main file or other modules. After writing this code, we save the file with the name background.lua and then add it to our working path by requiring it in our main script. This way, the background module becomes part of the game system and can be created, updated, and drawn as needed.